Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're talking about sparking the heart of humanity. My name is Dr. Mitch Abrams and I am a practicing radiologist, which means I do not use prescription pads or scalpel blades. I use our understanding of energy to non-invasively dissect the human body like a loaf of bread using machines like a CT scanner or an MRI. In my very first year of medical practice, I became a patient. I found out I required open heart surgery. And it was through this experience that I realized that how we define and study healthcare within our Western medical model is extremely narrow in scope. This catapulted me on a journey of exploration and research. And kind of like Dr. Strange, I found myself in the Far East. It was in India that I realized that there is an entire discipline of science that we're just not exposed to in the West. The science of mind, the science of interconnectedness or consciousness. However you label it, please understand that this is a true science. To help colleagues and community members understand how modern science is finally catching up with ancient wisdom, I use this piece of art called a medicinal mandala. If you want to understand and explore this deeper, I invite you to check out my TED Talk called Medicine of Frequency. What did Einstein mean? But for today's purpose, I want you to understand that the heart is so much more than a pump. The heart plays a pivotal role in bringing balance to the mind, the body, and the spirit. That deep sense of connection to ourselves, to each other, and to something greater than ourselves. But it also explains how a healthy community really depends on understanding that kindness and compassion to ourselves and to each other brings about this synchronization of our heart rhythms. Our hearts actually connect and synchronize with each other. And this is pivotal, not just to medical science, but to the science of global health. When you bring these two perspectives together, you can see that they support each other, and you realize that the heart is the common thread between self-care and global health. And it's through this piece of art, this lens, that we can begin to learn how to see, realize, as Da Vinci said, that everything connects to everything else. When you look out at nature, every fruit, every vegetable, every flower and plant, everything dances to a particular rhythm. We call it the Fibonacci sequence or golden ratio. Well, however you label it, as a radiologist, I want you to recognize it. From the environmental patterns down to our anatomy, I can tell you that everything is dancing to this particular rhythm. And I ask you to think about it, to contemplate on this. You see, no matter your skin color, no matter your culture, we are each 99.9% genetically identical. And just like the cells in your body connected like a global ecosystem to create a superorganism called you and I and everybody on this planet are each part of a global ecosystem called Mother Earth. And it's through this lens that will help us break through the greatest illusion in the world, as Einstein puts it, the illusion of separation. When we don't recognize each other, it creates extremism, a you versus me mentality. And in fact, if the cells in your body were treating each other like global citizens are treating each other today, you would be diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder where your own cells attack yourself. You see, through this lens, we begin to understand this deeper sense of connection where decades of academic research has shown that when we come together for cultivating kindness and compassion for self and others, that crime rates decrease, conflict decreases. Now, if you're thinking in terms of the old Isaac Newtonian perspective of separation, this would make no sense. But remember, the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to three gentlemen that experimentally proved that we are all part of a non-local, entangled universe, meaning that we are all deeply interconnected. Your thoughts and your emotions have a profound impact, not just on your own health and wellness, but on the wellness of our communities, both locally and globally. Through this lens, we begin to reframe our understanding of who and what we are, not only as individuals, but as a community, as a global ecosystem. And believe it or not, we can now measure our global heartbeat. This is where I introduced the Global Heart Sync platform. It's a not-for-profit initiative that gamifies the science of heart coherence, that turns self-care into tangible impact so we can provide more mental health and resilience programs for communities in need and in schools. And at the same time, we can begin to document and archive these moments of transformation, this emergence of a global heartbeat through art. And this rad art is a capstone project from Stanford University's Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education that creates sustainable funding while translating this very important knowledge. If you'd like to learn more about the global heart sync and rad art, I invite you to check out my TED Talk called Sparking the Heart of Humanity. But ultimately, research shows us that compassion is contagious. And when you infuse this information with music and art, it becomes infectious. And this, my friends, is how we can spark the heart of humanity together. Thank you.